So, about 30 inks, let's just say the data nerd in me was very happy. And once more, for old time's sake. Hey there, it's Grace. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for clicking on the video. First, if you've not watched any of my 30 inks videos, some of what I say here might have more meaning if you watched any of them, just any of the 30 days. That's not to say you won't find this, this video interesting, having not watched any of them. Before I start though, I want to give a recap about how I approached 30 inks, this being my first time doing it and all. So I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit intimidated by the prospect. I remember trying the 100 days project twice. Both times I gave up. Neither time did I reach the 30 ink mark, 30 day mark. 30 inks are in my brain now. I just say 30 inks all the times. Back in April, I began thinking about how I wanted to approach this whole series with two trips I knew I would be taking back to back. One of them actually ending in the beginning of June. So there was that. And I wanted to still swatch and write every day, but I decided the best thing to do was to upload 3 videos at a time. I did get a little behind when I had dental surgery towards the latter part of June. That was a doozy because I lost 4 days in my schedule. Pain, anyway, not even going there. So, but I was only 2 days late for the last video where I uploaded that last 3 videos that I originally planned, so that was a good. How do I feel having done 30 inks? How do I feel about inking up one pen each day with ink? And truth be told, I loved it. And I was so surprised that this feeling was the ultimate feeling that I came away with. I think part of it was that if I didn't like the ink from the previous day, I knew there'd be a fresh start, a random start the following day. Speaking of random, one thing I knew that I didn't want to have to do was to make 60 separate choices for 30 inks. 30 inks, 30 pens. The random way I chose to choose which pens went in which ink went in which pen was, I gotta say, that was brilliant. That was brilliant of me to think so. And I was so glad I did the prep work beforehand. So if you are thinking of doing 30 inks yourself, the next one is September. There's 4 months in the year with 30 days. The next one is September. So remember, preparation is key. And I almost did not do the preparation because I thought I had time. I thought about it in April and then May and all these trips are coming up and still hadn't done it. So I did get all the prep work done. I knew what I was going to do. I had to cut up all the names and put all the baskets and all the prep work was done. All this to say, get all your ducks in a row before you start. But I gotta say, for me, it was still very satisfying and quite meditative heading to the studio to write each morning, to swatch and write for that day. Okay, enough chatter. Now that you know some of the backstory, of my 30 inks process, let's get to what you're really here for. Let's get to it, okay? Let's do this. Let's go, let's go. First thing I want to show you is, before I get to talking about this stuff, this is how I kept up with my, let me show you this way. Oh, that's not good. This is how I kept up with my inks. Each day, I put the ink, when I finished, I put it in here. And the diamine inks, kind of, except for that last one just now where it fell out, it fit in there so I could keep up with all the inks. And I knew which is which will help me for this video. Okay, so, even though, truth be told, I fully disliked using this journal in the end, one of the reasons being that I was not happy about that. I was so, and then there's another one. There's another one here. That and that, yeah. Anyway, even though I used this, I thought it would be okay. I didn't realize that it was not a fountain pen friendly paper. I'm glad I did it because I got to see how inks react on a paper not best suited for it. And I was always comparing the inks to my Oasis notebook. This is a paper made for fountain pen inks. So there is that. These are my top inks. Just going to show you the top inks first. Let's see, how shall I do this? You know what, I'll do it this way. That's what I'll do. I'll use this. This was my, I love how this turned out as well. There, look at that. So sweet. So good. Alrighty, my top was, you know what, let me go with the third top ink. Let me do that way. In third place came Kobe number 19 Minatogawa Lime. That was day 26. That I loved writing with this pen. I love writing with this ink. Oh my gosh, it's like the greenest of grass. That's what it is. It's the greenest of grass. It's a green that I gravitate towards. So that was actually, this was the third place ink. Second place ink was something that was a little bit surprising. This was day, if I'm not mistaken, what is it? Day 26. There we go. Ruby Red by Kaweco. Kaweco Ruby Red, y'all. This is such a gorgeous, look at that red. I actually like it better shown here. Day 27. I like it better shown here. Look at that. It is such a deep color. It's a beautiful, almost, it really reads ruby. This is like a ruby red wine. Isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, that was number 2, Kaweco Ruby Red. And the top ink, the one I loved the most in all of 30 inks was this one. And that's why I picked this one up first, because it was top. Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku. I was not expecting this color. I was not expecting, and that's day 30. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That is absolutely gorgeous. One of the things I'm really glad I did is, I know the ink that writes, the ink you see in words compared to the swatch, it really is totally different. It depends on the nib and all of that jazz. But when you see the swatch, I mean, there's a red sheening that's all here and all in here. Oh my God, it's so freaking gorgeous. I do want to mention some honorable mention. I have 2 honorable mention inks, and the first one is, let me see if I can find it. Come out. This one, Diamine All the Best, and that was day 11, I think. Yes. What? Look at that freaking goodness. Oh, and it did show up in the writing. Let me see if I can find it in the writing, because it showed up so well. You can, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up. I can see it very little in the writing, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's got a green and a purple sheening to it that I absolutely love writing with that. That's definitely. And the other one is Diamine Apple Teeny. I just think it's just a cool greenish color. Now, Apple Teeny was on day 17. I just love, it's pretty. It makes your writing look pretty. And look at that splash of color. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes. Anyway, those were my top inks for 30 days, 30 inks. Let me put them all out. My top inks. And these were the honorable mentions. These These two are honorable mentions. These three were my top inks for 30 Days, 30 Inks. I absolutely love that. And I'm still putting them in order here because I need to remember where they are. Alrighty, my top pens. Now, I gotta say, the top inks, the ones I like, it's really a separate liking the ink, and then the top pens liking the pens, and then I will do top pairings in a minute. But top pen, third place went to, which I'm not surprised, my Pilot Kakuno. I just love this pen. It is so cool. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find when this was. Pilot Cocoon, I don't think I have it here. And I didn't put, oh, you know what? I know what it is. Day 3. Oh, I'm so sad because it was filled with Aurora Gray. I'm okay with Aurora Gray, but I love writing with this pen here. And don't look at that. Don't look at that part. But it is such a beautiful, absolutely beautiful writer. The top, let's leave that. I don't want you to see that. Let's do that. How about that? Because some of that is yucky. The second pen, the pen that came in second place, let's say, is this little cutie patootie. I thoroughly, and this is the Mahjong 1K Mini and the clear. I usually write with the blue, but I decided for some reason, you see in the video, I'm like, no, I think I'll write with the clear. I absolutely love writing with this cutie patootie. It is, I mean, I think I just love the simplicity of making this a pen. I don't know what it is. This came in second place. And the pen that came in top for pens that I really enjoyed writing with was this one. This one is the Monteverde Tree of the World's pen. This one is Giant Sequoia. I absolutely love writing with this pen. It's such a beautiful writer. Sweet, sweet writer. So those are my top 3 pens for 30 Inks 2024. Alrighty, now I will do, let's get to lowest scoring pairings before we get to the top pairings. And I gotta tell you, oh my goodness, y'all know I had such issues with this, with some of these pens, some of these inks, mainly the pens. I don't know if you remember the Monteverde Formula M. Yeah, that happened. Ugh. Anyway, I didn't actually put that in the scoring because I actually liked the ink, I think. Oh no, I didn't actually use it. That's why. I actually, when the nib broke, I actually took it out of the running and replaced it. So that's not in the lowest scoring pairings. Lowest scoring for me would be I think it's this one. No. Maybe it's this one here. Yeah, I think this is it. Diatramentus Yellow Gold Copper, and the Bennu. Now, I love my Bennu, don't get me wrong, I love my Bennu, but I mean, if you didn't look at here, this was hard starts, this was all sorts of stuff. Let me see if I can read it now. See, this is the problem with writing with yellow ink. Wish I could say I enjoyed this pairing. I thought the Bennu was good. The ink had other constant ideas. The ink had other ideas to writing well. I had to do constant shaking to get it to flow. It really, and the Bennu is a beautiful writer, absolutely beautiful writer. It just didn't work well here. I did not enjoy it. So this came in at number 3. All right, the next one that had was not very good pairing. And this one came up, that's not it, that's this one. This one came up, I was so dang irritated with it. One of the things, let's see which one this is day 13, I think. Oh, I even forgot to write it. I remember I forgot to write the pips, my thoughts on the pip pairing. I don't know what, it was so irritating. I couldn't see. I had to go over certain letters a lot on this, and for some reason the flow was not as good. This Jinhao 82 usually is a good writer, beautiful writer. It's a medium nib, but with the Bucks Fizz, it just, what is this? Is it a chameleon? This must have just a little bit too much shimmer, but I just haven't been a fan of this ink since I got it in Diamine Inkvent. And yeah, this is going to go in this needs a new home pile, because someone else is going to appreciate this one more than I do right now. I did not like that pairing at all. But the one that got me, and I have to tell you, I've misplaced the pen. So there you go. I'm owning up to it. I've misplaced the pen, mainly because I think I'm gonna find this pen after I finish this video, because she is so ashamed of herself for acting that way. I misplaced the pen, and the pen is, where is it? This is the one. I'm gonna read what I wrote. I have not struggled with ink flow before using this pen and wonder if it's the ink. When it stops writing, so when I use Fireside Snug with it, and this is one of the Diamond Inkvents from 2023, and I use the Fireside Snug with, I'm gonna put the pen on the screen somewhere so you can see which pen I'm talking about, because I don't know where it is. It's disappeared. I've looked everywhere for it. But what I wrote here is, when it stops writing, I open up the pen and the ink is at the bottom of the converter cartridge, and I have to shake it, kind of like shake it, like turn it upside down and shake it for the ink to move back towards the nib. Every single time I wrote, that just irritated the heck out of me. I have not had a problem with this ink. I have not had a problem with the pen separately, but these two together, I would say this was kind of like the lowest score. This is the lowest scoring because of that reason. I'm not sure what that was. I'm only writing for a day with a pen, so I can't say why, because it's not sitting there for, days on end where it gets stuck. And I wish I had the pen to show you, because that was so irritating, absolutely irritating. Let's get on to better stuff. Let's get on to really good stuff. These are the pens that I had the most fun with. The pen pairings, I should say. This was one of them, which surprised me so very much. Where is this one? And I think this is it. The ink and the pen, let me get the pen out. These were this was the third place, was the Jinhao 100 Classic in the blue celluloid, style. It's such a beautiful style. One of the issues I had with this pen before, when I did my October Jinhao currently inked, I only used Jinhao pens for October last year, and I got this pen and the other one, and the nib was an irritation, absolute irritation. I stopped using this until I picked it up for 30 inks, and that's because I ordered 2 new nibs to go in it, and now it writes perfectly. And it writes perfectly with this ink, Robert Oster Blue Sea. Oh, so pretty. Let's see where I can get. Let's get to look at that thing. What? Just gorgeousness. And it's beautiful on the paper. No issues writing, nothing. And to think that when I used this before, probably 8 months later, I really, dare I use the word, I hated this pen. I hated this pen. I hated it. And then I saw that you can get new nibs for it. So anyway, that's number 3. Number 2, which is so surprising. Oh my God. Number 2 is this one. This is Kobe number 19 Minatogawa Lime Ink. Oh, so awesome. That is day 26. So this ink came in as one of my top inks, and now, oh my goodness, the ink and the pen came up as a top pairing, and you won't believe which one it is. Dang, it's another Jinhao. Now remember, when I say a top pairing, both of them have to work simultaneously beautifully at the same time. And for all of the other inks, all the other pairings, they're good, like they're middle of the road, but this was a dream writer. And this is a medium nib. This one is a fine nib, if I'm not mistaken. Is that a fine? Extra? Even better, because I'm not a fan of extra fine nibs, because I think they write too thinly. But this is the Jinhao 100 in the Snow White, as I said, with the medium nib, and the ink is the Kobe number 19 ink. Beautiful. Oh, absolutely beautiful pairing. So gorgeous. But the top pairing, which was like a sneak in there thing that it did, the top pairing was my day 30. I'm thinking this. Oh, let me tell you what they are first before I gush. Let me tell you what they are. This is Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku, which is the top ink that I love for 30 inks. But it also is paired with my new pen. This is the Sailor Tuzu. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you will know that me and Sailor have not been getting along. I should say me and Pro Gear, any Pro Gear Slim have not been getting along. But I happen to oh geez, what a beautiful, absolutely beautiful combination. So those two, the Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku and the Sailor Tuzu, that was my top pairing for 30 inks, 30 days. I'm still writing with this pen. And I must say, I inked it. I finished day 30, and I had such a good day. I actually inked up the rest of the cartridge, the converter cartridge, because I knew I wanted to write with it some more. So those are the 3 that are my top pairings. Oh my goodness. Now, one of the things I do for Ink Report after counting ink is I actually see which of the ink bottles, which of these inks would I buy in bottles. Now, granted, now I have 4, 5, 6, 7 bottles of inks here that are diamine. So obviously they're not going to be in the running because I already have. But the inks that I would love to get a sample of is one of my top picks. It's a top ink, and it came in one of the top pairings, is this one, Kobe number 19. I thoroughly enjoyed writing with this thing. This was so much fun to write with. I cannot wait to try it in a different size nib to see what it'll do with other inks. So yeah, this definitely, I would like to have this in a bottle. I actually don't want a full-size bottle, so I'll have to see. I think they only give 30 mils bottle. I don't know. Anyway, I am new to Kobe inks, and I did check them out online, their line of inks, and there's quite a few that I would actually like to buy. But I'm hesitating because I don't want large inks of bottles anymore. Anyway, the second bottle I would like to buy is this one. Get out of there, because I know you're sitting there and they're nice and sweet, but Diamine All the Best. Oh my gosh, this was delicious. Absolutely delicious. This is this one. Because look at that joy. Look at that. Oh Oh, what did I write here? Great pairing. I used the Monteverde Giant Sequoia with this pen. As a matter of fact, I think it's still inked up. It's still inked with the All the Best. Great pairing. These two, although not showing it here in the beginning, the ink is wet in this pen and the nib glides smoothly and effortlessly. Big grip on pen, doesn't cramp hand. I love seeing these two paired. So that ink, I would love, if Diamine had a small bottle of this ink, All the Best, I would definitely get this one. Oh my goodness. I do want to mention two honorable mentions. I'm not sure I want I love how they showed up, but I think it's this one here. Yes, this is I Love Anything Organic Studios. One honorable mention is Organic Studios Nickel. Look at that color. That's on par with, where is that's this one here. Come on, where are you? That's this one here. I did want to compare it to Day 30. So if you look at it, this is just a darker version of this one. But I love how rich this one shows up on the paper. It really is 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And the reason why I would get this one, the Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku, over this one is because of how it shows up on the paper, basically, how deep and resonant it is. That's why this is an honorable mention. I probably won't get a bottle of that one, but that's okay. The next two that are honorable mentions that maybe I might be getting it. The next two are Ferris Wheel Press inks. Now, I gotta say, for some reason in the last few months, I've been really disappointed with the inks I have for Ferris Wheel Press, and I'm not sure why. So I'm surprised that these two actually made the cut. The first one is, I think this is it. No, it's this one. The first one is Ferris Wheel Press Hearty Harvest. And that one is, let's see if I can get a picture so you can see what I'm talking about. Is this it? Yes. The shimmer in this ink is freaking awesome. It just, look at that goodness. And the shimmer all over. You can see some of it. I'm not seeing a whole lot of it in the writing. Do I see it in this writing? No, I don't see it. I'm beginning to think that this ink needs a different nib to really showcase it properly. But if I were in orange mood, I'd get one. This is like a deep orange, deep dark orange. Okay, so there's that one. And the last Ferris Wheel Press ink is the first one I did. The last Ferris Wheel Press ink that is an honorable mention is the first one, the Sherry Sonata. I love this ink. That's this one. Ferris Wheel Press Sherry Sonata. There's something so gorgeous about this ink. Let me see what I write for my pip pairing. Beautiful pairing. The flow of this ink in this pen was so enjoyable to write with. The ink color is a subtle, not in your face, dusty pink. Oh, I wanted to write with it more and more. One day's worth was not enough. Okay. Yes, Sherry Sonata. If I were going to get this color, I would put this in the running to get this color of ink. So we had 3 honorable mentions. I think we had just 2 inks that I want to get and 3 honorable mentions this time. So there you go. Okay, that's it for top and not so top pairings for 30 inks. Right now I want to take a quick moment to answer the question, why do 30 inks? And my answer is not necessarily about recording your adventure to upload to YouTube or Instagram or any other platform. That's not what I mean. I think what I say will still apply to your own personal pen journey as well. First, it's fun. It's fun to spend a whole month just pairing up the inks and the pens. For me, the random twist I gave to it added to the fun. And this was especially true, or I should say, this is especially true if you have a larger collection of pens and inks, or both, as they are probably pens you haven't used in a while, and you'll get to enjoy the ones that kind of don't get out of the pen closet enough. Anyway, secondly, it is truly an intriguing endeavor. You are inking up one pen a day and just getting to know the nuances, the thing of these two paired items. And what I found is that because I only would be using it for a day, I paid even more attention to how the two, the pen and the ink, acted together. And the third thing I'll tell you about is you will learn so much about yourself, aka your likes and your dislikes. And it gives you fantastic insight into both of your collections, which means you'll become even more familiar with them. And if you're anything like me, you will get more curious. Like, are there inks that definitely should not be in your stash and need to find a new home? Sometimes we just don't think about that. Is there a pen brand that really resonated with you and you need to consider other pens in their lineup that you hadn't done before? Is there a nib that absolutely irritated you, or one that spoke to you as you wrote? One that made you get all the feels about, oh yes, this is the pen, this is the nib, I love this. All of this and more is what I got from doing 30 inks. Now, all that said, it is a lot of repetition, so if you're not into doing it for 30 days, do not start. Fair warning, fair warning. There's one more thing before I end this video. Let's go back to the overhead. So, the even bigger question I want to answer is, and I've been asking myself this since the end of this particular 30 inks, June 2024, would I do 30 inks again? And my answer is yes and no. And that's not a very good answer, but it's the answer I have. Yes, I would do it again, but not anytime soon. And definitely not in September. It just, one reason is because I'm traveling abroad that month anyway, so it won't be in September. I would consider April next year, but who knows? I'm even toying with November, but I think that's still too close. I don't need to do them back to back to back. One of the reasons I did 30 inks is to really go through my stash of, I really didn't go through because I only went through 30, but to go through my stash of inks, but also find my likes and dislikes, as I talked about previously, with my pens. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this process. By the way, I love your engagement with my version of 30 inks. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for commiserating with me when things didn't go well, when things went really horribly wrong sometimes, because that nib, oh my goodness. And for cheering me on throughout the whole process. I really loved sharing this with you. Do me a favor, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you most enjoyed about these 30 inks that I put up. And also, if you're planning to do 30 inks in September or November, let me know, because I'd love to tune into your journey as well. Any questions you have about my process, about a pen, about an ink you saw, what you enjoyed, or what you want to know more about, I'll be happy to answer them for you. And a couple of you have asked about Crab. Don't worry, Crab is fine. He will be back. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Last time for a while, I will be talking about 30 inks. Well, there you go. Okay.